what are some things that a young individual such as yourself or someone around your age can do to avoid such mistakes as you mentioned, which is basically responsibility and making sure that you have good credit?
To tie on to that, I actually, at my age, I only use my credit cards. Let's say if I go to get Chinese food at a restaurant, I have my debit card and I can easily pay with that, or my Apple Pay, my debit card. But every time I want to pay with my debit card, I just pull out my credit card and I pay with that, and then I pay that off. Because essentially you're doing the exact same thing, except you're building your credit at the same time. So whenever you make a payment, just ditch your debit card, pay with your credit, then pay off your credit with your debit.
Smart. That's actually not a bad idea.
As simple as that. And that's how I built my credit from 650 to 770 now.
So 770, is this the highest credit score you've ever had?
This is, yeah. My credit in the past few months has been fluctuating between 750 and 770, just between the two. It goes up and down every so often, mainly because
the balance
sometimes I'll use more than 30%, or sometimes I'll use like almost 70% of it and I pay it off, but it's still, because you use that much, it goes up. But within 2 weeks, it goes back down.
One thing I learned, or a trick to raise your credit, before the next credit report is issued, which is I think once a week they refresh. But one thing, let's say you're applying for a car, you're applying for a house, or you're getting an apartment or anything before you're about to get your credit ran by somebody that's going to verify you. I always recommend you go in and pay off every single credit card. Or that's what I do, actually, because then it shows zero balances everywhere, and it gives your credit that boost of like 20, 30 points right away from just paying down everything. And it's almost, I wouldn't say artificially inflating it, but it's inflating the score by so much, and it's really showing that you got zero debt.
Yeah, once you pay it off, that increases your available credit, and your available credit is what increases your ultimate point.
Credit score.
Yeah.
So what are your plans in the future in terms of your credit and in terms of your desire? Like, say God gives you everything goes great. What are your plans in the future with the credit that you have, or with the credit that you're going to continue to build?
So I believe your credit can go up to 850. So,
by the way, I had 850. I showed it to you. Remember?
We're not paying.
It's not an advertisement, but
that's awesome.
You don't remember that, do you?
I do. I remember. You showed me.
And what did you say?
I said, "Wow," but I didn't really know much about credit at the time because I was 15. I didn't really know, but now that I think of it, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, 850 is a good score.
To keep it at 850 is the hardest part.
Yeah. It's not easy to get to 850. Now, again, apps like Credit Karma, apps like Credit Sesame and so forth, their credit scores aren't always the most accurate. When you apply for like a bank loan or any of these other institutions, they give you a much more thorough, much more direct credit score. But with that said, what are your plans?
Yeah, I'd say my plans are, right now I'm going to be in my apartment, as I was talking about earlier, that I have my parents as my guarantors on. But once I get out of school, get an income going, I will hopefully afford my own place, start paying for my own rent with my credit. And the thing is, actually, for the renting an apartment, it actually doesn't affect your credit. They just want you to have a good credit. That's why they care more about the income. So with my credit-wise, I want to be able to afford my next car.
What car do you currently have?
Currently, I have a BMW 3 Series. It's a lease from BMW right now.
Which 3 Series?
It's an M340i.
Oh, that's a nice car, Lord.
Yeah, I love it. Hopefully, I can get another BMW, but on my own credit.
Which one would you get?
Oh, man. Yeah, that depends.
Let's say perfect scenario. Which M car?
I love my engine. Yeah. I love my car. So either the new version of my car or the new M2 is really cool. Yeah.
Smaller.
It's smaller, more compact. They actually just got the world record for the Nürburgring time for the compact cars.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's incredible with so many competing cars.
Yeah.
Cool. So What about a house in the future? Would you say
Yeah.
you're also building credit towards a house?
So that's the thing. A lot of people, this kind of going off topic, but people always focus on getting rent. But the thing is, if you think about it, if you're paying rent every month and it's not actually yours in the very end, you're just wasting money in the meantime. But if you're starting to pay a mortgage off and you just keep paying your mortgage for a little more than the price of a rent, you actually have your house in the end. So once I'm going to be in medical school, so hopefully during or after, I want to start paying mortgage for an actual place.
Nice.
Yeah.
And we'll get into your schooling in a bit, but the mortgage game, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to pay off your house, because it takes like 30 years on average, unless you make extra payments and you cut it down to like 22, 23 years. But overall, what people make money on from the mortgage game is the fact that once you keep the property for a certain amount of time, you're going to appreciate on that property. You could borrow against that property. So it's basically like you're living for free if you sell your house or get the money back and invest it properly or do whatever. So you're not paying, you're not going to pay, people think, oh, well, I'm getting my mortgage, I'm paying it off pretty quick.
Yeah.
The actual curve of the mortgage payments is so into the interest side of it that, let's say, out of a $5,000 mortgage payment, you're paying like $1,500 to $2,000 in principal down. Still a lot, but the majority goes to interest until like year 20 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
And the people that are more experienced in that could chime in on the comments. But overall, what I've noticed with the properties that I own is the property appreciates so much that even in the course of 7 years of you paying rent, your property appreciated several $100,000. It's like you're getting all that rent back if you sell it.
Yeah.
So is the American Express Centurion in your future eyesight?
Yeah, definitely. I love Amex. Ever since I got my card. Actually, I haven't shown you guys my card yet. Here she is. You guys can see that.
Beautiful. And it's the newer version. A lot of people don't know or may not know. The Platinum didn't used to be that thick metal looking type.
Well, yeah,
Can I hold it?
Oh, yes, of course you can hold it.
Yeah, it's a nice card. And for me, the Platinum card is still the best bang for the buck. I personally love this card. I think it's to me, it says a lot about a person, just like a nice watch. I think it says a lot about a person for their financial status and also who they are as a person. Like they take their finances seriously. Doesn't mean that they're good spenders or that they'll spend well, but what it really says is, hey, this person does like the finer things in life.
Yeah, definitely.
So the Centurion card.
Yeah.
Why would you want that? Now, your dad had it before, I believe.
He did, yeah. He had it a long time ago. He just told me all the benefits he got from it. I mean, even I'd say medical bills or stuff like that, you can call them and you can get stuff cleared, or you go to a hotel, there's a dispute, you call Amex, Centurion, they get it cleared. I'm sure you've dealt with Centurion cards. They're just the most helpful. I'd say it's between that and Chase, the new Chase Sapphire Reserve card. That one's
so the Chase Sapphire Reserve competes with the Amex Platinum, in my opinion. They're hand in hand. The fees are about the same on both cards. They both have pretty much the same offerings.
Yeah.
Different concierge teams, although who knows, they may contract to the same people. But the card that competes with the Centurion, and I've had that card as well, it's the JP Morgan Reserve, not the Sapphire Reserve. And the JP Morgan Reserve actually is a better annual fee than the Amex Centurion. Amex Centurion is $5,000 annual. The JP Morgan Reserve, I think, is probably about $550 or $650 now. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It's way cheaper.
That's crazy.
But it's heftier, I think, from my memory, and I did a weight test on my channel. You guys can check that video out. But it's about near 30 grams or 28 or so grams in weight. The Amex Centurion is like 12 to 14 grams in weight, like half the weight. And the JP Morgan Reserve is a very good feeling card and just a card that I do love.
Is the Centurion that you have, is it about the same weight as the Platinum? Lighter?
It's about the same weight as actually it's lighter, I think, by a gram or two, which is kind of insane.
Wow, that JP Morgan card, that must be.
It's a hefty card. The only other card I felt just as heavy or heavier was the Ritz-Carlton Platinum card, which is like a special card that's for Ritz-Carlton or St. Regis, one of those fine boutique hotels, or not boutique, but fine hotels. That card was so heavy. I think it might be around 40 grams. And,
Wow.
and I don't think you could get them anymore. You have to be like specially invited or something. Really unique, very rare card to have.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty dope. What would you say, aside from like the customer service or the concierge, what would getting an American Express Centurion card mean to you? Because the reason I ask this question is I get people hitting me up all the time. I had a guy that hit me up on Instagram the other day that said he'll pay me $100,000 to get him a Centurion card or recommend it.
I mean, they're that hard
I
to
was like,
get.
who the hell is this guy? but the point I'm trying to make is it's like, how would it make you feel to have one? Why? Not like the customer service or any of that. How would you feel? What does that mean to you?
I mean, honestly, I'd say going from Platinum, which is top tier card, to a Centurion, it's more so of for yourself. You feel better. You feel like you achieved that. And it makes you, as I said, just want to keep going and going. Because if you show up with a Centurion to a Ferrari dealership, show them your card, they'll know you mean business.
That's right. You're right about that.
So,
I've mentioned it before in the YouTube channel and on this podcast, even discussing it. The Centurion card, when presented at the right location at the right time, gets you a lot of credibility. Doesn't make you any special person or anything like that, but what it does is it brings credibility to you upon a purchase.
Yeah, it puts what you say into reality.
All right.